Hi, this is Doug Manch, and you're listening to Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast.
Ladies, gentlemen, and others, welcome to the 101st episode of Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. A podcast where we're hitting our attitude era. We're turning everything upside down. Moon Knight, he's Marvel's Batman. 100%, that's it. That's the new going forward. Welcome to the attitude era. And with me, in this brand new exciting era, is Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
Woohoo! Hi. I'm ready for this.
Yes.
Let's talk Batman.
Yeah, let's talk Batman. So we just got DC solicits. I think we'll flick through it. No, thank you all. Ray is away this week. That's why you were suffering my intro. At least I had the lovely Rebecca with me. Welcome to the 101st episode, where we talk everything Moon
Hooray!
Knight.
The new era.
Marvel's Batman. We'll get that out of the way.
Yeah.
We like him.
We're calling it Moon Knight Rebirth.
Welcome to
Rebirth.
We're gonna have 52 episodes of this particular era. Then we'll jump ship. It'll be fine.
There'll be a crisis.
There's now 2 episodes a week of this podcast. Alright. So,
right,
Rebecca, before we get back on track properly and talk all things Moon Knight, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Work. It's really boring.
Finally.
Lots of cinema, lots of work, and started rereading Transformers comics.
Yes. That's what I've been doing too.
What can I say? Bad influence from someone I know.
Good thing that's not me.
Good
nothing
thing,
if not predictable.
We are, we have all these comics ahead of us, and we're like, kind of miss the robots. Well, Autobots.
And some Decepticons.
Well, yeah. But, Cybertronians. Okay.
War's over. It's done.
They're
Well, it
all
was
friends.
like a good week for comics, because you have like Assassin Nation, Daredevil, Invisible Kingdom, Livewire, Lucifer, Monstrous.
Daredevil is so good.
It's so good. It really
it's amazing that it's Chip Zdarsky and there's like zero humor.
I really just thought I was so worried it was just going to be the same thing, but Chip Zdarsky, what a voice.
He just manages to do the same thing in one way, but like totally different. And he's also writing very serious in Invaders, which is he's really, really growing as a writer, and showing his range. And I saw somebody comment on Twitter, obviously he hasn't read that much Daredevil, saying something like, why is Matt always why is all these terrible things always happening to him? Why is he always so miserable? Because no one would want happy. It worked in a very short amount of time. It's limited, but you want him to be. And this issue when it brought in religion as well, it was just spectacular. And obviously, I'm still reading my usual Captain America, Iron Man, blah 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 blah. I'm really enjoying, and War of the Realms is the big deal, isn't it? I mean.
I'm very behind.
It's actually being a pretty decent little event. No extensions. Well, I was going to say no extensions, but we have had King Thor announced, which is kind of an extension.
Yeah.
But not to the event, but to Aaron's run on Thor. So
it's crazy that there's no actual new Thor run announced.
Yeah, but I think that'll probably be maybe New Year. I think we might get that in 2020, yeah. Because if he's got King Thor starting in September, we're just up to September solicitations for anyone. Not on the ball with these boring how far ahead these things get announced. But if he's doing King Thor and it's 4 issues, I reckon, they'll leave. We'll get sort of January, February, a new Thor run. But I think everyone will be ready for a bit of a break, maybe, even if it's a month or two, because this is epic, and we'll have Valkyrie coming out of it as well.
That's the big one.
Yeah, so there's still quite a lot of continuity, and there's a bit of rejigging going on, but we might come to that when we talk about the solicitations in a bit more detail. And I've been really enjoying like books that I was rude about, like previously, like Moon Girl. It's now one of my favorites. Like as soon as they put Sleepwalker in it, it's like no, but I kind of paid attention and dipped in and out. But to be honest, I'm almost 50. These are not comics aimed at me unless I've got kids. Really, they're like for kids, and
yeah.
And there's a limit to how much sort of saccharine kid comic I can generally bear. And that's usually Squirrel Girl, because Squirrel Girl's got lots of more adult humour. But Moon Girl is unashamedly that sort of like preteen, I'd say. And, but yeah, they did a Sleepwalker story, so I had to read it. And I've just kept going since then. And I have to say, like, I'm really enjoying it. It's not going to be one I'm always reading. But anytime it sounds interesting, I'll definitely dip in. And bizarrely, Moon Girl and Squirrel Girl have both had very good War of the Realms crossovers.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize Moon Girl had one.
Moon Girl had Devil Dino Thor.
Oh my god, that's great.
The greatest thing ever. And Devil Dinosaur got a girlfriend, or he got a dragon to flirt with. Anyway, it was very sweet. And Squirrel Girl's been off on a mission with Ratatoska, whatever the rat god thing is.
It's a rat god.
She's a rat god, but she has a human form.
You're the
and
rat.
So yeah. It's been really fun. So they've been quite fun little tie-ins, and I think Iron Man's was a lot better than we all expected.
Yeah,
but that's only because I should explain as well. Iron Man's has a very weird storyline going on at the moment. Everyone thought this War of the Realms would really break it up too much and lose some of the pace, but actually it's kept enough of the thematic stuff from what's going on with Tony, but also got him in really cool armor, making Shazam jokes. So, lots of jokes about how he feels about magic and also fighting a dragon. Lots of dragons.
I love
in
a good
Marvel
dragon.
right now.
I'll accept that.
It's hard to not love a dragon. Says this Devil Dinosaur. What have you been reading? You've been like a bit under too much work and stuff, right?
Yeah, and I've just kind of been avoiding them. I don't know why. I just didn't like.
I think sometimes it's hard. Yeah. We need a break sometimes.
Yeah. But I jumped back in this last week as well, and this week I downloaded a lot of comics to catch up with, like a lot.
Cool.
But from this week, there was some fun stuff. I really like the new Usagi Yojimbo. It's got puppets. I like puppets. Demon puppets.
Nice. Demon puppets aren't all
great.
Puppets kind of demonic though?
That's true.
Am I like showing myself as a slightly puppetophile, a phobic, whatever? Don't like puppets much.
I'm trying to think of a good puppet now. I mean, I like the ones in Thunderbolt Fantasy. They're nice.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are good puppets, like Basil Brush and
That's true.
Bagpuss.
Oh, Bagpuss.
He's not really a puppet, but whatever.
He does some things. He's like
puppetish. Yeah.
The boy. Assassination is really fun. That's actually, speaking of Squirrel Girl,
I really want to read that one. Yeah.
It'll be a good trade because I'm not sure how long it'll go for. Maybe it'll probably have like a decent like stop for a couple of months.
Yeah. That's I quite like that though. The sort of serialized, like doing it like TV. It works for me because it gives me time to catch up. But
yeah, I really like Gideon Falls as well. That's like spooky, cosmic horror at this point.
Still not dead. I've got like the first 3 issues because when they were on sale on Comixology, I bought them, and I'm still not. Just can't jump into horror. It takes a lot.
Yeah, well, like honestly, like at first I was like, oh, this is quaint. This is a bit more Twin Peaks than it was horror, but it does have a good way of scaring you now. Like, issue 6 properly was like, alright, you get something out of it, which is good if you like horror. Maybe not so much.
Yeah. I mean, look, I am reading Immortal Hulk, which totally grossed me out so much. But it's good. It's just gross. So.
Oh, it's like there's a smiley, creepy demon in Gideon Falls, and if you do those right, always the best spooks.
Yeah.
Oh, Monsters.
Smiling demons are harsh. Is it?
Yes, it's been back for actually a couple of months now. But it's still like my favourite book on the stands because it just looks so good. It's just... Sana Takeda, unbelievable. Yeah, I've also been reading a lot of manga.
I need to read that one. That one I've done.
Did you check out Psylords from Valiant? I didn't. It looks cool.
No,
but
I didn't know it was out. I planned to. I really meant to. Like, that's actually one I think it looks interesting. It got a lot of people dissed it out of hand.
Oh, really?
Because one of them looks kind of hipster, and they were like, it's a diverse team. And but actually, I thought I quite like the team doing it. So I will grab that after we've done this. I will go and get the digital version, and then because that's what I do. Valiant now. It's like it's so cheap to get their trades. I usually just get their trades. And then just get it digitally.
It's good, yeah.
Because then it's easy, yeah.
Well, and that'll about cover it for comics from me at least. Won't bore you going through my entire pull list. Some good stuff out there.
There is some good stuff out generally.
But I didn't really want to insult a comic on the podcast.
Feel free.
Just don't read Superman Year 1. Alright, do we want to talk some Moon Knight?
Let's talk Moon Knight.
We actually got some pieces of news. With
we do. They're very exciting. Yes.
Shall we kick with solicitations or the other thing?
No, let's start with solicitations, because that's actual, factual, what is going to happen. Right. So, The Punisher number 15, coming out in September. Being written by Matthew Rosenberg and art by Simon Kodransky, whose art I do not know.
He's done something cool, I just don't know what yet.
Starting a thing called Battle for New York, and we know very little about it. And the solicit basically reads, you can't fight City Hall unless you're Frank Castle, but he won't fight alone. Unfortunately, Zemo's got his new Thunderbolts and they're ready for war. And the cover by our man, Greg Smallwood.
It looks so
what
good.
What a team. It looks so good. It is. Punisher, Ghost Rider, Night Thrasher, Black Widow. Is that Black Widow?
I imagine, yeah.
I think so. And Moon Knight, top and center.
Oh, right under that logo. Gorgeous, chalk white
big
aesthetic.
cape flowing. No idea which Ghost Rider. Should I know from his costume? Cause
I feel like I imagine Johnny Blaze. I've only got Johnny Blaze and Robbie Reyes running constantly, and I don't imagine that's Robbie Reyes.
There's been a reference to Danny Cretch recently.
Really?
Right. Yes, and it shocked me. But I don't know. Maybe it's in Avengers. I'll try and find it. But it's about Danny Cretch. It's going all very Jewish there. But no, it might be an Avengers thing.
Oh, so
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. So Simon Kodransky has been doing The Punisher with Matthew Rosenberg.
Has he?
I think at least that's for 6 issues.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. No, I think he's been there the whole way. I really like his art too.
I like his art then if he's been doing it the whole time.
This is exciting. We were talking last episode how, like, get new readers on Moon Knight is to put him in another run. And I feel like you like Punisher.
Yeah, right? It feels like it's just kind of happened. And also, I mean, like, this actually does kind of go into what we're going to discuss next. There's lots of rumors about Thunderbolts coming into the MCU. Because it seems like something that they've got so many of the roots of it there. Even with a few tweaks, like if they made Hammer in charge. But, you know, we do have an ongoing Spider-Man where we could have Osborn. And, you know, they've stopped killing all the villains in the Avengers. Yeah. Like, we do have Zemo, for a start. And we've got Yellow Jacket. And do we have him? Yeah, I think he didn't get killed. I don't remember Ant-Man that well. But, you know, like, there's lots of rumours about whether that's what Marvel will do next. Like, rather than go into another Avengers, actually do like Thunderbolts and then like the fallout from that with their new Avengers, so to speak. I mean, like, and there's nothing backing that up as far as I can tell. It's that everyone thinks it's a cool idea, but and it is a cool idea, and it's something that it's different, and it's not like Suicide Squad-y. It's not like they've copied DC, because they're quite different motivations behind the teams. And I think you know, like. So, and also in September Solicits, which is not relevant to Moon Knight, but kind of relevant to Thunderbolts, is there's also this Strike Force.
Yeah.
So there's a new Marvel team that has got Winter Soldier, Angela, Blade, Wiccan, Monica Rambeau, and Damon Hellstrom. Again, a team that you could see Moon Knight being in without too much difficulty. Yeah. They're apparently going to take on the underside of the Marvel Universe and try and deal with threats before the Avengers have to. So, that's a kind of, so there's like these two teams, like, this is the first reference we've had to a new Thunderbolts. Obviously, Zemo's been in the whole of Matthew Rosenberg's Punisher run. If you didn't know, he has. Not always front and center. So, I'm guessing, I mean, I didn't look at the solicits for the previous month, but we'd have noticed if it said that. But it might be worth keeping an eye on the August ones, what happens in August. I mean, I read Punisher anyway, I know Rick does as well. See when these new Thunderbolts are going to be set up. But it may be something we only hear about. Oh, this is Punisher Kill Crew. I don't like the sound of them.
That just sounds like the thing they try to do with Deadpool.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know in War of the Realms he co-opted all these prisoners, so it could be to do with that, like, who knows? The solicit for, what's happened to Punisher 14? Which one, is it? In September it's 15, so what has happened to Punisher 14? Interesting. The solicit says 13 in the August one, but actually it's probably 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the solicit for the previous one, it talks about Zemo's battle for against Punisher hitting the streets of Manhattan. So in the run-up, we'll have to keep an eye on it, and we'll let you know if we spot him.
Yeah.
Or spot this. But it's an interesting team, and it's an interesting team to be working for Zemo. So we'll have to see.
Well, is it working for Zemo, or is it Frank getting his own team to fight Zemo's Thunderbolts?
I hope. Oh, that's a good point. Actually.
I don't know. I've 50-50 on either.
Yeah, it could be either. I mean, it's a cool Thunderbolts team, but you're right. They look like they're on Frank's side.
It could be like Zemo,
and that would be a nice team to take on Thunderbolts, whoever the Thunderbolts end up being.
Frank's I'm going to kill your City Hall, and Zemo's going to be like, not so fast.
No, you're right. It does say he won't fight alone. No, I think I read it. I think I just got it wrong. I think you're absolutely right.
Which is fun, because my favourite thing about the Punisher with anyone is no one likes the Punisher, no one wants to work with him. But
to be fair, no one really likes anyone on the team much.
That's true.
Except maybe Black Widow.
Yeah. I've read any Night Thrasher. He looks cool, though. He's kind of scowling at me. He's the one judging me the most on that cover.
Yeah, he's really got a good scowl. That's because he's the only one whose eyes you can really see. Like, I don't know, Mooney's got a bit of a scowl.
they all seem rather unimpressed with you. It's just...
Yeah, I mean, Ghost Rider seems fine. He seems pretty Ghost Rider. Chilling with his chain and ready to come vengeance stare me. But, so that's exciting. Moon Knight is going to be in another book. We've got the, Cullen Bunn annual with Kang. So, this is par for the course with Moon Knight, isn't it, really? I mean, we have these solo runs interspersed with these little... He's never really very far away. We're very lucky. There's a lot of characters on the same level that don't get half as much play. And I think it's just because everyone kind of likes him, really.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character.
He's a true cult hero. The big culty following.
Everyone wants a little medal with him. But it's nice because, Matthew Rosenberg and obviously probably got to handpick the characters he wanted. And we'll see what comes of it. But there's a few little revengey, supernaturally teams coming up around Marvel at the moment. So that's kind of cool.
And it's cool. I was looking at that annual. Cullen Bunn, he's alright, but Ibrahim Mufasa is a very cool artist. I'm excited to see his take on Moon Knight.
Cool.
He did Mother Panic, was it 2000 and something AD? And then that Savage Things from Vertigo. Years ago. And a really good Godzilla.
I'm looking forward to it.
That's
a really good Godzilla.
Is a really good Godzilla. That's in Godzilla.
There is no bad Godzilla.
It's true. Alright. Shall we talk back to the... Usually we wouldn't cover this because there's about 60 million Moon Knight MCU articles every single day. This one's got a lot of traction. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, because Kevin Feige said that they talked to Keanu Reeves for pretty much every Marvel movie to see which one they can get him in. And, I'm guessing some of it's timing, some of it what he wants, some of it, what'll fit. So it led to a whole splooge of he should play this, or he should play that. And Dan Slott and Bill Sienkiewicz both said Moon Knight. And that's some heavy hitters.
That is. And I feel like it's got a pretty positive response, I think, at least following the group in Twitter. Yeah, people seem quite into. My only reservation is, honestly, I'd like to see Moon Knight, if he pops up, I'd like to see him be in it for a while, and I think Keanu is possibly a little old. Which I hate to say, because he's not, but he's great at the physical stuff, and I think he could do fine as the other stuff. I mean, it depends how much they wanted to use Moon Knight. I'd like to see Moon Knight more, so I'd like someone who's got a bit more longevity, perhaps, and isn't as expensive, or as
wouldn't
busy.
Have as busy, exactly. But I would certainly not complain, and it would certainly get the character a lot of attention all of a sudden. You would suddenly get this swarm if Keanu was playing him. But I think, if he wanted something to play different sides of a character, I know there's some concern about if he's shown range, but honestly I think if you look at the whole body of his work, there's probably enough range there. And again, it would depend if it was a Moon Knight film, if he was part of a team, how much attention you're going to pay on it. And it's just I think, I love him, and I just have those slight sort of awful practical issues with it that I just don't think it would happen. I think you're much more likely to see him have sort of a Samuel L. Jackson type role in a film where he's not in it that much, but he can keep coming back and doing little bits, or where he just plays a bigger role, but only in one film, like a one-off baddie or something like that. It just seems to me on a practical side. I guess things like salary don't really matter because Marvel is just raking in cash. But I think it matters a little bit.
Yeah, I think there are the two biggest things of this year are the MCU and Keanu Reeves. And it's just I think just Kevin Feige just pulling in even more good press by talking about Keanu. And I just think Keanu's current status I don't know. It'd have to be something really big. Which I'm not saying
I mean,
can't be Moon Knight, but also...
I did like the person who suggested Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, he's kind of got the fighting prowess. Like, you know...
and the sarcastic attitude. That could...
Yeah, I could kind of see it. So
is Taskmaster officially in Black Widow, or it's just heavily rumoured?
I don't know. I don't even know if Taskmaster... I didn't even know it was rumoured, but I think... No, I did know it was rumoured. I did know it was rumoured. I hope he is.
Taskmaster is the boy. And then we can get Black
I saw that what's his name's just been cast. Ray Winston.
Oh.
That's my latest news on Black Widow, the movie.
This is the Black Widow podcast. Thanks all for coming out.
Thanks, yeah. You know. Well, she's going to be in a team with our boy, so she counts as side issue. But yeah, so it's interesting. It's like Moon Knight's always going to keep coming up as Marvel, and until there's an announcement, and it's kind of cool. I like it.
Yeah, so that's actual exciting Moon Knight news. Can you believe it? September is like 2 months away. 3 months? 2 and a bit. Three.
But we have the August annual, right? So was that in September as well? It's also in September
as well.
Isn't it? Yeah, it is. September. Damn it.
It was a big month. Get excited.
September is Moon Knight month.
New Moon Knight month every year. And until then, you're going to be dealing with us talking about the old issues, which is sort of a segue into our next bit, which we'll have right after this ad. And yes, welcome back. If you ever actually follow that Moon schedule thing we do, this isn't actually supposed to be an episode for a classic issue review. It's supposed to be for an Isla Ra, but I kind of didn't get that together. And, you know, the episode 100, Moon Scepter's gone, sort of thing. So we're talking issue 6 of the first volume. Huzzah.
Hooray.
We've done it again.
Which segues nicely, because it's Sienkiewicz.
That's true.
There you go. There's our theme. We're doing that. Everything is just as smooth as silk. Because that's how we roll.
I'm definitely not vouching for time because I haven't got the opening page open. It tells me who did what. But it's written by Doug Mensch, Bill Sienkiewicz on pencils, Klaus Janson on inks, Jeff Gaff Parker? No,
I think
just Parker on
just
letters.
Parker. Yeah.
Gaff on colours.
They don't get first names.
That is sad. That hurts. And then Denny O'Neil is editor.
They're probably women. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
they're probably not.
Yeah, no. So this is issue 6 of the first volume that's called
White Angels.
Yeah.
You mean, yeah.
That's what the issue's called.
Yeah.
And would you like to give us a quick rundown, Rebecca?
Of what?
This issue.
Oh,
Sliver.
right. So,
description.
yeah. A sentence, come on. Some old acquaintance of Mark sends him a telegram saying he wants to call in a marker for having saved Mark's life. Mark takes Marlene and all his mates off on holiday, courtesy of Stephen Grant, to some island where the locals are worried about voodoo and zombies and this white angel, and off Moon Knight gets involved and solves it all and gets mistaken for a white angel a lot because, you know, white. That's it. But it's cool. It's actually quite fun. It's a really fun issue. There's a lot of lots of talk about who he is at what point. There's Marlene. There's Frenchie. There's Crawley. There's everyone.
There's some
Gina's
dated
kid.
but really nice commentary for the time.
Yeah, right. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, some racial tension and all on a nice little island.
Sadly,
and great art.
It is. There's a lot of really fun panel composition, just with, like, the amount his stuff on every page.
Yeah. And some really nice, and layouts, and they go into the guttering a few times. It's fun.
I love that bit. Fists swinging, legs thrown out.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like, dipping into guttering, like, panels laying over panels. It's really, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I've read it for a long, long time. I certainly didn't sort of, like, twig it before. But there is a lot of sort of, you know, him switching between the various different identities. And Marlene talking about dreaming of 4 different men.
I love that panel so much. It's like, yeah, Marlene, you're the best.
Yeah, and his reaction is only 4. Okay, Mark. Well, at this point, he's Stephen. But okay, like, only 4. How many do you wanted to dream about, Mark?
I really like that weird, like, nightgown that almost just kind of looks like it's probably just $1 million.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's lovely. It's all great. And it's just like, and everyone's just so chill about, like, everything about Mark and who they're talking to when. There's also a great bit in the diner at Gina's, where Lockley goes in to, like, tell them they're gonna go on this holiday. And he, like, Crawley's got his tea bag that's, like, going mouldy. He just keeps asking for hot water.
Even on the plane, what a hero. What an absolute...
What a hero. He wants a paper cup so he can take it away. But it's nice because it also shows you that it's... I don't know, I forget sometimes that Moon Knight isn't this all-white cast, you know?
Yeah.
They just have, like, junior kids and, you know... It's fun. And they go off on their holiday. I just thought it was so funny. He's like, right, yeah, we're all going on holiday. Stephen promised you this holiday, right? I'll give you a lift to the airport in my cab. And off they go.
They do go. My biggest problem with this issue is he asks for a marker, but they don't spell it with a C. Look at a marker. I don't know.
Do you spell it with a C? Oh, I see what you mean.
Wasted comedic potential.
But isn't that, I don't know, there was one panel where I thought they spelt his name 2 different ways in the same page, but I don't know, like, it's hard to see. I don't think I've got particularly nice. There's a lot of text. There's a lot of but you know what? I've read ones where there's a load of exposition, and this one didn't feel as bad.
I feel like, especially
because it was broken up a bit, like with the Marlene fun stuff, you know?
Oh yeah, I feel like the dialogue always meant something and pushed the story forward, and the amount of this is one of the best parts about it, especially a little later in the run, and I guess this is sort of hitting that point that the amount of yellow expository dialogue boxes slowly start just diminishing. Just kind of a brief reminder. I like in this issue.
I just thought it was quite fun. Even like the big where they're explaining the whole voodoo ceremony and stuff like that, and how the island. No one like mocks it either, and they're just like, you know, do you believe in it? Yeah, I believe in it, and it just carries on. And you know, and his mate's head of the police, but he's understaffed, so we've got our first little thing about what's going on today, or certainly in the UK, about fighting about police funding. It's a very big issue at the moment. But yeah, like, that's also kind of interesting because Marlene starts questions his friend about, like, just how violent Mark was as a mercenary.
Yeah.
You know, there's like that slight, you know, because she wants to know how he saved her life, and she's saying, was he really ruthless and a heartless killer?
Which he ends up believing in himself.
Yeah, and his friend answers yes and no, which is probably the truth. I mean, but you can't really be a mercenary and not be a little bit ruthless, I imagine.
Well, I mean, I don't want to.
If we've got any mercenaries listening,
email.
Don't want to offend you and your chosen career.
ITKMoonKnight@gmail.com. Let us know.
I shouldn't even laugh about that. Like, maybe there are. It's fine. Like,
we're glad you're listening.
Yeah.
I really liked, the amount of comics and manga I read where voodoo is just the most voyeuristic thing that they, like, exploit out of. It didn't at any point feel in this issue. Like, I wouldn't hand to someone
No,
like
it
that,
felt
like, this
it
is
felt
glowing
quite lightly
representation.
touched on, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, right. I mean, because
But
you'd
it's
never,
still-
I wouldn't give anyone a comic from any of this period as a
Yeah.
glowing representation or anything. But it was fairly lightly touched on, and with very little mockery and very little. It was just very matter of fact, most of the time. Like, you know.
And like an offhanded comment from Rick and Ray about colour and segregation and classism, which adds a bit to the issue as well, especially with its villain.
And also having this white guy going around talking to the islanders, like even when he's talking to the, you know, like, and she's sort of treating him like you don't really know what you're talking about. And it's true, he's not lived on the island, doesn't know, doesn't grow up in that culture. But it's quite funny because like some of the baddies are people dressed as skeletons, and I would have thought that like it's fairly obvious there's muscle mass in there, but we're talking late at night and superstition, so clearly not. And this is a position where fear is the bigger driver than what's actually happening to people. But it is quite funny that this whole thing is about the White Angel, and of course Moon Knight is exactly who you would mistake for being a White Angel. But he's like going, no, I'm just a man like you. It's just a costume. Like, she's like, you don't often get to see him. Like, you know, we talk about like people writing him too bantery now, which I actually think is a problem with a few heroes at the moment.
Yeah.
Iron Fist has become extremely bantery, and I still think Spider-Man in War of the Realms is a little bit too far. And he's like, you know, but this is him like actually, it's not even humorous banter, but it is him going like, no, look, it's just a costume. And you don't see them have to say things like that very often, so it's kind of fun. But he also shows good fighter he is.
Yeah, he's like, he gets hit like once in this issue, and then just
because he talks about his werewolf powers going like diminishing.
Yeah, they're gone now. Bye bye.
Given powers. Bye. Better get bitten again. Oh my god! I just thought of a terrible team up between Moon Knight and Catwolf. This should never happen. Do not ever let me in charge of Marvel Comics.
Back.
Catwolf back. Get a nibble, says Mark. This is why Ray does not allow us to do this.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. We also get Mark in his swim shorts. Very nice.
That's nice. It is.
As you know, my favourite Midnight costume.
That's a nibbling costume.
It's it's not a bad costume. I can't believe you just said that. But he's having a relaxing holiday as well.
It is really nice that everyone's just, except for him. Well, actually, I say that, but Crawley and Frenchie almost die. Rick and Ray pretty close to dying. Not quite as... They at least got a good week of relaxing by the sounds of it.
Look, I'm sure they got some nice meals while they were there. I'm sure Crawley didn't have to live off one tea bag. So... You know, but Mark's lying there by the pool. He's obviously having a bit of relaxation time. But yeah, the others go off on their little side missions, and Crawley and Frenchie again. Here's another one. Like they find opium fields, opium poppy fields, and talk about sort of how much heroin it must be worth, and that's what leads into who the actual White Angel is, and the fact that he's like basically drugging people to enslave them, to pick all this. Rather than paying them living wage and actually employing people, you know, because he's obviously making a ton of money. He could probably employ a lot of people on the island and ship people in from other islands if he really wanted to. But no, he's decided to go supervillain and drug them and enslave them. So it's kind of interesting because there is a level of commentary I don't want to get into because it's not anything I feel qualified to talk about. Because obviously the drug guy is white and the islanders are black. But But I also don't think that was too heavy-handed either. It's just, I think they wanted a reason for someone to want to drug people up.
Yeah.
But he's also dressed like, his dress is very problematic, but inappropriate. But he's a baddie, so that's all right. He can be a dick, and he is a dick. Crawley and Frenchie are in trouble.
They messed up, not even from investigating, just being
from
off a road.
Being there.
Terrible sense of direction.
Terrible. They're like me. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd ever go into a jungle with you.
I certainly don't. No, I really wouldn't. It's a bad idea. Look, I got lost on something that was a straight road. So, what can I say?
I mean,
the map said it was a straight road. I
never trust a map.
It actually wasn't a straight road. Well, it was a straight road, but not one pedestrians could go on. Let's put it that way. And I ended up crossing a motorway. So it was fun. Fun times. And promising I would never do that again. No, I just ran across a motorway. It's okay.
Have you, though? Have you done it again?
It was only about a month or two ago, so no, I haven't. I really don't think. No, I got a bus the next time I had to go there, funnily enough. But yeah, so you said you were asked something.
Yeah, I was asked about, is Moon Knight more of is he a supernatural sort of hero? And, it can be a bit mixed over the years, but reading this again straight away, it was a really nice reminder that these, definitely my favourite stories. I was thinking about, Stained Glass Scarlet and what's the mayor fucko called?
I
don't know.
I just want to call him Mayor Fucko now.
He was really cool in that 4-parter. God, I'm bad. I'm not the authority you guys need right now. I apologize.
No.
But yeah, and, Bushman and that. Those are some of my favourite stories. And I really like this early run for this sort of filled-out world and this, these decently topical, which I think Mensch's books as an author are definitely a lot more political than his comics even were. I feel like they're even a bit more biting. But, yeah, no. Yeah. I guess on a different point as well, I'll bring up, just because I really, really loved it. This is kind of, the 80s, pretty barren background art is common, and there are some cases in that, but when there are backgrounds, they are exquisite here.
There are really some amazing ones where
jumping over the fire,
Frenchie, but also where they're strung up. It's great. Yeah, all the forest at night are amazing. Even him driving into those bushes is great. But there's a lot more background. You're right. There is a lot more background in this issue than you generally see. A lot of trees and vegetation and tents and actually all the fights are incredibly dynamic. Well, that's where you lose some of the backgrounds. The skeletons work really well, and Mark looks great. Or Moon Knight looks great, I should say.
There's a great profile of just his face pulling on the mask. It looks fantastic.
Yes. And just, I don't know, it's just, it's a really fun issue.
It was.
Everyone has something to do.
It's a great
everyone
filled
has
out
something
world,
to do.
which is probably one of my, I love just about every run of Moon Knight, but there's always, the ones I prefer more than others, always the one that I guess feel more filled out by the world around
They're
him.
the ones where the scene setting doesn't feel heavy-handed, and here it doesn't, because Mark's not seen this guy for ages. Marlene wants to know how he saved Mark's life. One or other of them is going to tell all these things, and they manage to tell it in a way that just sounds like you actually would go, well, how have you been? This is how I've been. There's not that, sometimes it can be very plodding. And it's just done really well, and it just works nicely.
It does.
Yeah.
I think that just about covers all I've got to say about it.
Yeah.
There's a poetic ending with white powder and heroin.
Yeah, and Gina tells her sons not to do anything naughty. Again, no more investigating for a whole week, just to show she's a sucker for them. being heroes.
Yeah,
but no, it's a good issue. I would definitely recommend. Definitely. I'm very happy I got to read it again.
Yeah, and the next one is Moon Kings, the one where he gets drugged and imagines werewolves on the moon.
Werewolves on the moon.
Is that a song?
No, I'm just going to make it one, though.
Well, good. I'd happily listen to that.
And guess who will star in it? Catwolf.
Oh, my God.
It's what happens when you have me along. It all goes back to Captain America somehow. Yes. But it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Do we have to score it?
I guess we will. I'd give it 8.5? 8?
Yeah, I think so.
That
I think so. Let's do 8.5. Ray can translate.
I'd lost the document, and I
think it means it's a really big moon.
It's just a fat chonker of a moon shining brightly. Yeah. That's what I'd give this issue.
It's coming to combat midsummer, which is of course when we're recording this, just after midsummer.
For us. But it's actually pretty warm.
Yeah, so there you go, midwinter for you. Shortest day for us.
Yeah.
I mean, longest day for us. So
shortest day for us here.
God, how perfect!
It's a real duality.
It is. That's how the world works, people.
Can't believe it. Oh. So I guess that covers up. Is there anything, unless there's anything else you want to drop into the cool...
Can't think of anything else.
I don't know.
I think we're... I mean, like, we've not got anything coming up immediately, Moon Knight, so we'll just keep it there. I mean, there's San Diego Comic-Con coming up in a couple of weeks, so...
That is exciting.
Where they might announce some things, but
Johnson is writing a comic with a 7-day countdown or something. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Who knows? And I'd be up for that. And then it'll be followed shortly afterwards by D23, where Marvel will be revealing their Phase 4 slate.
Catwolf movie.
Yes.
Will that be an episode of Bucky and Sam's Big Time Adventures TV show? I hope so.
I hope so. I don't mind if my Catwolf is Sam. I'm fine with that.
I like that part of Nick Spencer's. Was that Nick Spencer?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
it was Nick Spencer's one.
Fantastic.
He's the only one who's really read that. He's the only one who's really written Sam as Cap.
Yeah.
Apart from when Remender made him Cap, but yeah.
It's a good run.
So, I quite liked it as well.
Yeah, I cannot promise that Ray will be a next episode either. We can only hope. But, until then, hope you return to join us. We're still in a bit of a mess right now. Scepter's lost, we don't know what's going on. I do not know what we're doing next week, but keep an eye on the newsletter. If you want to find us, we're itkmoonnight@gmail.com, Into the Night podcast.wordpress.com, facebook.com/itkmoonnight, @itkmoonnight on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Dairy Cartons.
Everywhere, really. TikTok.
With it, Snapchat.
Probably not TikTok yet. No. But we'll get there.
We're bringing it back. MySpace is maybe still up and running. Maybe. We're facebook.com/group/ITK Moon Knight. It's all the good news. All the cool peeps are hanging out. Be one of those cool peeps and join us there. Drop us an iTunes rating if you like us. If you are a fan of maybe other content in this insane episode. We had a good time. We hope you did too. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you for having me.
Watch over the denizens of the night.
Bye.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.